Professor Schlegel, could you explain your project RobMoSys in a few words?
RobMoSys is about composable models and software for robotics. RobMoSys is partner in the European industrial platform for robotics, and the project is about adopting composable systems and composable software for building complex robotic systems that have assured properties, where properties can be managed, where quality of service and all these important further aspects are being addressed.
Could you give an example? For example, I'm the owner of a company and I buy robots, and what is the use of your project? How can I use the results of your project?
So in general, it's about building complex robotic software systems out of building blocks. That means there might be someone being a specialist in localization, and that specialist wants to offer a particular localization component as building block. Someone else, completely different person, wants to build a robotics application, and that person wants to use these building blocks to tailor them, to adjust them, and that cannot be done at a source code level. That needs to be done at a more abstract level. So we are using model-driven approaches in order to structure the interfaces and the interaction between different roles in a robotics ecosystem. And that is exactly why it's about composable models and composable software building blocks for new robotics.
So your blocks can be translated into programming code, for example.
A model-driven approach allows to adhere to structures that are needed, that different stakeholders can interact, and that these building blocks can be composed together. Part of that is, of course, code generation. Part of that is, of course, being independent of implementation platforms, but be inclusive for all different technologies that can be used, and to link to other communities that provide appropriate technologies that can make an impact for robotics use cases.
What do you expect the result of this project will be? How much code or how much models, as you say, will be collected from partners and maybe from everywhere?
So we need to mention that the project is with Cascade funding, and that means we roll out in 2 calls 4 million euros for community involvement. Mm-hmm. And building up the ecosystem is about collecting the models, collecting software building blocks, illustrating in pilot applications that the composition with assured qualities, with assured properties is possible. And what will finally remain after that is a built-up ecosystems of these models where all the other players then can finally jump into.
Last question.
That is the role of RobMoSys.
Excuse me. Last question. How many of these experiments or small projects could be funded with your funding?
So that is at the moment tentative. Given the constraints we will set up, we are in interaction with the community. We expect 12 to 14 projects.
So it's an opportunity, and maybe this is the message to the general audience. There are plenty of opportunities coming up now.
Absolutely.
To participate in your project with bringing models of processes, robotic processes, into your, as I would call it, knowledge base. Is that correct?
I would not say knowledge base, I would say body of knowledge of the robotics community, which is explicated in a sustainable way in the structured models.
Okay.
Exactly.
So I wish you good luck, Professor Schlegel. Thank you very much.
Thank you.